Peace and pugilism. Fight Fanatics is Myron Magnus and another segment of Boxing Logics United. I thought I'd go back to my grassroots and do some interview analyzations, okay, for you all. And right now I'm about to analyze the Kugan Cassius interview with Anthony Joshua through IFL TV. Okay, and they're at the old gym, and Anthony Joshua's made a significant donation to a couple of gyms in this area so they can keep moving, going through the pandemic. A wonderful philanthropist act by him. Enough of me talking. Let's check out the video so I can break it down. Who Anthony Joshua is.
First of all, news today that you are pledging a substantial amount of money into English, Welsh and Scottish amateur boxing. So first of all, why the decision to do that?
Why not? This is where I'm at. This is grassroots boxing here. I'm with Finch ABC. I still train here. I know how difficult it is for the clubs to stay open, bills to be paid, for the kids as well, local communities that are suffering. So it's just about trying to find something that's positive. I support a lot of causes, but the reason why we want to bring attention to this is because there's an element where the government are backing different sports, and boxing went on the list. I could talk about wrestling, swimming, all different sports, but boxing is obviously the one that I represent. So hopefully it raises a few eyebrows, and in the future, when the government, they've been doing a great job, you know, with furlough schemes, supporting different sports, but hopefully they can look at boxing as well. And people from like private sectors and big companies that want to help support boxing can team up with myself or the federations of England, Scotland and Wales, even Ireland, and support these grassroots boxing gyms.
It was a few weeks ago where the government announced that £300 million survival winter package, and there was a lot of obviously talk amongst people involved in boxing about why boxing was excluded from that. It was a few weeks of people making noise on social media, but nothing was really done. So I suppose we can make noise and we can...
One of the reasons why boxing was excluded from that list is because many people in the world look at boxing as a very barbaric and volatile sport, similar like a crime against humanity. Okay, maybe because of the history of it. Even Mike Tyson said it's peddling flesh. Those was his exact words, and many things. So a lot of governments don't support boxing around the world, and a lot of people in high places don't like or support boxing because of the brutal nature of it and various other reasons, you know.
Tweet this and tweet that and say this, but you're actually physically doing something about it.
Yeah, I learned that this year is, you know, we can make noise and so on about different things and different causes, which is important because it brings attention, and that's what brought to my attention. That's when I started doing some reading. I come across the article of the head of Repton boxing gym, and I read his article, and it made me realise how tough it is for the gyms and some of the financial sides of what it takes to run a gym. It's not the most lucrative business, but what I learned this year is, you know, less talk, more action. You know, do more substantial things if I can. Everyone's got a part to play, and I felt like my part in this was to do something more substantial. I'm blessed. I've done something positive through boxing. I've come through the grassroots, which is Finchley, gone to the GB South, gone to like the World European Championships, and then I've now turned professional where I've got the belts. And I feel like if I can, I'm well connected to the grassroots, so I understand what the clubs are going through now, reading that, and I would hate for this gym to close and many others around England, Wales and Scotland, bro. Imagine me being 18 again and then telling me, listen, by the time this pandemic's open, by the time everything's open again, boxing gyms are going to close forever and they're going to build flats there or something like that. I'll be like, what? Whether I care or not, I'm 18, but there would be no potential AJ versus Tyson Fury, there would be no mega fight happening. So, you know, it's important to try and support these gyms through these tough times, because I can't wait to sit back as an old man and watch the next heavyweight champion coming through. It'll be sick. So I don't want to lose out on a generation. Do you know what I mean? I want to kind of keep that momentum going and hopefully build towards the next, you know, the future leaders of tomorrow.
I suppose it would be difficult to see the impact of what you're doing right away. I think in the years to come you could probably look back and see that impact with the situation we're in right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how much of an impact it will have, but I just think every little helps. Just to give someone a bit of breathing space for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. But as I said, the government have done a great job, and they've got their reasons as to why they put their money where they put their money. And every single person you ask would do it differently. So there's not one rule that fits everything. So it's just about next time, you know, doing something, you know, for the grassroots boxing so they don't get forgotten. And hopefully long sustainable actions will make big differences. But we can never forget about these gyms here, bro. These gyms is what makes us. This is like, even this gym here, this ring here behind me. I sparred Tyson Fury here in 2010.
Okay, and that's the end of that part, and let me chime in. You know, we oftentimes hear Anthony Joshua regurgitate the word humble. You should humble yourself. Oftentimes, many of us boxing fans, including myself, like to see Anthony Joshua, you know, his more aggressive side, more gully side, you know what I mean, the more in your face, the more shit talking side. But truth be known, that is not Anthony Joshua's personality. That's not the core of who he is. Anthony Joshua is truly an idealistic person. He's a highly idealistic person, and a person who also have a high ideals as far as the sense of justice. He's highly idealistic. And Anthony Joshua, oftentimes or not, will tend to make sure he goes out of his way to be polite to everybody. Even his mate, or should I say, my apologies, not his mate, but his competitor. Just like what he did to letting Andy Ruiz Jr. hold on to his belts. You know what I mean? In the press conference before they fight. Many of us, we look at that as like, yo, what the hell? We looked at that as like, yo, he's crazy. You know what I mean? That was an omen, or that was a jinx. Why the fuck? Who else does very that? Kind individual, naturally. You know what I mean? And he's very clever as well, very clever, and socially and politically. But the humbleness thing that Anthony Joshua constantly pushes out there is truthfully him. It doesn't mean he doesn't have high expectations or ambitions, but he has an idealistic way of going about it and wanted to accomplish it. And he's a very, very, very kind person, naturally, by nature and heart. This is what I really figured out about him, and it helped me more understand some of the ways and things he's done and moved that made me like yo. Because some of those things I probably would have done myself, putting myself in his shoes. And in fact, because boxing is looked upon the way it is by many people in many places as a sport that's not kind to mankind, Anthony Joshua is probably perhaps the perfect person, okay, to be the unified champion and to be the face of the sport right now. Truthfully, having Anthony Joshua, and I'm 100% natural disposition that he has of kindness, humbleness, and everything is better for boxing right now than perhaps market-wise, okay, than anybody else could be at this moment. The perfect fit, perhaps, could be Anthony Joshua because of his idealism, okay, and how he represents himself in front of the world. And that's all I have to say right now. You know what I'm saying? This is Myron Magnus. I'm coming with another video right after this. Peace and pugilism.